Hey creative friends, I'm Bloomzeye and I make cute and colorful pixel art indie games.
So, I haven't made any game dev videos in a hot second, and a lot has happened since my last video, which was months ago. For one, I completed my first game dev commission. I created a personalized, custom-made birthday gift video game. My client met me through a local pitch night where I showcased my indie games with pixel art. They emailed me months later about a video game as a birthday gift, and while I was pretty nervous, like really nervous, that experience showed me that putting yourself out there and sharing what you love doing can draw people to you. My goal is to make game development a full-time thing, so taking on that first client helped me learn a lot in my workflows and as a person. I'm looking forward to doing more personalized and custom video games, and my commissions are open. You can check out my commissions page on my website, and a link is in the description. I'll share more about my first game dev commission in a later video, probably, but you can read all about it now on the guest article I wrote on the GDevelop blog. That link is also in the description. One reason why I stopped making videos is because my current laptop was on its last leg, and I don't really like video editing, and I didn't have the funds for a new laptop at the time. Now I have a new, refurbished but still working laptop. And I'm figuring out my workflow for video editing where I don't hate every second of it. In this case, I like making this video using DaVinci Resolve and Canva. Canva isn't a video editor exactly, but it has enough video editing features that I can use to make a pretty nice video in. And as usual, my pixel art is done in Aseprite. After some loop-de-loops of my life, I'm trying to get back to the flow of game development. I'm trying to harness the energy I had for my first indie game, Bumble, and all the curiosity and excitement that came with learning about indie game development, pixel art, and how my favorite video games are made. I'm working on a top-down pixel art game, and the goal is to work on the game and finish it during this month of April. Or at least try to, since I never made a top-down pixel art anything. And honestly, my brain and mental wellness have been all over the place lately, and trying to bring my ideas, creativity, and overall focus in agreement is a lot harder as an adult than in my childhood. Who would have thought? Eventually, things started getting in sync in my head, and I've been watching a bunch of riddle videos with my younger siblings, so now I have a riddle for you. What do you get when you mix a strawberry and a cow? If you're one of my Buy Me Coffee members, you've known the answer weeks ahead of everyone, or like a week and some change. You get an adorable cow named Strawberry. Terrible riddle, but at least my cow is cute. At least I think so. Strawberry is the main character of my current game in development, Strawberry's Flowers. The title might change, but it's a game about a little cow going on an adventure to find the best flowers for her mama for Flowers Day. The themes that popped into my head during my sketch phase that inspired this game was the spring season, childhood adventures, how motherhood isn't just blood, and how trans and gender nonconforming people have just as much capacity and right to love and have children of our own. As a queer person, I sometimes feel like I have to make my games and art always have LGBTQ plus themes, but the truth is, I'm queer and everything I create is gay by default. My art, gay. My games, also gay. This video, hella gay. I've been doing side-scrolling platformers for 95% of all the games I've made or created art for, and it took me almost 2 months to figure out isometric pixel art, and that was me doing it non-stop. Also, I feel super rusty in making games, honestly. I took a break after my first client to do my first in-person market, selling my cute and tiny ceramic critters at a local plant shop. That was fun, I'm glad I did it, but my brain stopped thinking about game dev for too long, so now I feel behind. Although realistically, my game dev career is going at my own pace in creative rhythms, and I'm in my early 20s. I know I have time. And I started rambling again. That's pretty normal here. Okay, back to game dev. Like all of my games, everything starts with a sketch. While I was waiting for my older siblings' pedicure, I created these thumbnail sketches of what looks like... Actually, I don't know what it looks like anymore. It's a cow, I guess, a square, and some shapes, and some wiggly lines. After a few more sketches, I really liked what I was creating and it looked possible to go from start to finish. So I thought of making a simple, top-down, story-based mobile game. I haven't really done any of those before, so while I was out of town, I got serious in my development. Like I usually do with my game concepts I really like, I created a text document of ideas and research, I created an image reference board in Canva, and eventually learned Notion for project management. Since my workflow was all over the place, I discovered and learned Notion, a task organizing software for my game dev, social media, writing, video editing, and more. I feel a lot more organized now, and while I still have anxiety surrounding getting tasks done and started, project workflows, and management, having my Notion as a home base for my game development has helped me along the way. Okay, now into Aseprite. This time around with my pixel art, I did something different. To prepare myself more working in teams and being handed someone else's artwork, I used a short and stubby top-down character base by Dan, I'm going to pronounce the name wrong, Dan Velasquez. I know I'm pronouncing it wrong, but I'll leave all the information in the description below. Since I usually do all my art myself, it first felt weird using someone else's art in my development. But in a team setting where I may not be the only artist, which has happened before, I need to get used to the various hands the work can go through before it gets into mine. I also really enjoyed trying to turn a cow into a pixel art character while maintaining both the cow characteristics and pixel art methods and workflows. That's why I love pixel art, because it forces you to focus on the most important parts that can make it your design. As someone trained in fashion design where even the smallest 1/4 inch matters, pixel art was kind of a release for me in getting rid of the details and not stressing out about them. I also let myself not have a completely finished character before I moved on to the next part of my game's art process, mainly because I'm still getting used to the drawing a top-down perspective and I was staying on the same pixel art canvas for days. Granted, learning something new does require time and patience, but for me, since I would usually be halfway through the art if I did my usual perspective, like side-scrolling platform perspective, I felt like I was falling behind. Which is why I think back to my 1 month challenge in making this game, because programming already intimidates me and will take most of the time, let alone new art perspective. For Little Strawberry's design, I wanted to communicate a childlike ease in her animation, clothing, and movement. Since I have a small sprite to work with, I wanted the outfit to be very simple. In character design, as I've learned, the clothes, the environment, the story, and the character itself all need to match and make sense together. I'd imagine Strawberry's mama is very practical and sews overalls for her calf to play in. And living on a farm, I think overalls fits better than a dress. My biggest animation struggle is communicating a good run cycle and just animation in general, really. I've been slacking on learning the basic and foundations of rules of animation, which translates in every medium in my opinion. Because of that, I'm trying to make myself create the base art first, finalize the art, then animate last, which makes sense and is what I usually do, except this time I spent hours rushing through the animation and the character. Well, not rushing, but just it wasn't the time for animation. And I still have to change the clothes, update the designs, and animate them all over again. Like, where is my critical thinking and long-term planning here? At the end, I finished Strawberry's rough animation drafts and it looked pretty okay. Like, I'm not trying to run any rewards for this cow baby, but I still want to do my best. Also, when I played around GDevelop to see my character move, I understood a bit better on how the art and how the programming translates and works together. Speaking of programming, I told myself to not touch GDevelop until I finished all my art, as I usually do, because I knew I'd stress myself out, and I did it anyways. When I program in GDevelop in any game engine, I plan out my programming stages and write in clear terms of what I need to do. Move the character this way, make the character jump, move a box, move an object, etc. Since I knew I had to learn some new things with mobile responsive and a top-down game, I was bracing myself for hours and days of headaches. But thanks to GDevelop's pre-built extensions and folks in the community who make those extensions, I got my character moving around with a touchscreen joystick and no problem. Oh, and my programming is a hot AF mess. Do not come to me in my videos for questions because I don't have the answers and I will confuse us both. I was mostly curious on how my character looked and moved and thought I could switch up my workflow and do like programming on the front end, as in like placeholders and kind of testing out mechanics. And yes, it was cool to see my character move in a top-down format. It was just too distracting overall with my development. I've pretty much decided that it's best for me to play into my strengths and keep growing as a game artist, and do programming last as I usually do. Even though I started a game design document, I haven't really written out what my game would look like, what the player would do exactly, the game's progression, the important bits, and everything else. I know I need to pull back and gather my thoughts, because I won't have a finished game at this rate. I'm getting there, and it's all a process. I filled up my world design with some grass, and a fence I took way too much time on. Like, seriously, I spent like an hour on this fence, maybe more, and it doesn't even repeat properly or dynamically as it should. I jumped too quick into my rendering, and instead of leaving it as a placeholder and doing like a tile map test, I just did it all in one jump. Just foolishness in my noggin, foolishness. I even started using the repeat pattern brush tool instead of the tile map layer, which is what it's for, and what I even end up with, like nothing I can really use. I can't with myself sometimes. But after I created the fence, I made a nice little pond on rocks. I might add some duckies and some froggies later on. I then proceeded to do the dumbest thing and tried to create a full top-down barn straight up without any planning or better research in top-down pixel art. I wasted at least 3 hours on this big old farm, maybe a couple days actually. I thought my brain would eventually click since I've been doing pixel art for a while, but nope. Surprise to no one, you can't always jump from one perspective to another without learning that new perspective thoroughly. Eventually, I stopped myself, went on YouTube and searched up a bunch of top-down videos and research and made a barn I could stare at without immediately hating. That barn isn't finished yet because I'm at loss how to render it and really finish it up, but I'll come back to it later. And that concludes my first video in many months of inactivity. Pretend I'm throwing confetti. When will I post another video? I don't know. If anything, it'll be after I do a good chunk of development for Strawberry's game, but I might make a smaller video between then. I really don't know. But if you want to be the first to hear about my video and game development and projects, I invite you to join my Buy Me Coffee page. If you don't know, Buy Me Coffee is a Patreon and coffee alternative where you can either tip a creator or join a monthly membership. Monthly members get early access games, art, animation, and videos, your name and video credits, monthly rewards, project announcements, your ideas for my games, when I do polls and suggestions, and whatever else I can think of. I've been working on growing my Buy Me Coffee page and create a circle, so check it out.
Shout out to my Buy Me Coffee members who help support me making cute and colorful Pixar games, art, and stories. And a special shout out to my top supporter, Ariana.
You can also stay updated and join me on social media where I ramble and share my game dev and art on my Instagram stories and reels, post snapshots of my development on my TikTok, and talk to other devs on Twitter and share many updates. Thanks for those who have stuck with me since I've left. Shout out to those who unsubscribed in my inactivity stage. I don't blame you. And hello to everyone who's meeting me for the first time. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you creators later.